Well, welcome back to the channel. Today we have Alex. You saw him recently on one of the Pro VM videos. If you didn't watch that video, go back and check that out. Today we're going to talk to Alex about things that he struggles with, things he wants to get better at, what he wants to achieve, goals, and then I will try to figure out how we can get going in that direction. What are some of the things that you want to try to achieve, and then some things that you struggle with?
Main thing definitely is bowling better down and in. Probably trying to see how like my hand positioning or even just like hand pressure on the ball, because I feel like I tend to like get on it more and more as the shots go along.
Yeah, I did notice a couple of shots you missed in the Pro VM. You were kind of ramming it at the bottom, which is, it's pretty common.
And then another one is probably just accuracy.
Consistency?
There's times where I'm like on line with every shot, and then I mess up one time. After that, I completely forget about what I was doing before.
All right, so we got a couple things to touch on. We're gonna work on a little bit of versatility, trying to play a little straighter. He's obviously pretty good at hooking it. And then some consistency things. I got a couple tips for that. Let's get started. So Alex is about 210, 220, kind of depending on the house. So definitely a higher level bowler that we're coaching today. The biggest thing with playing straighter, obviously you want to be a little softer with the hand, keep your hand up the back to control that kind of front to back deal. Because if you're grabbing on it, the front of the lane's going to take it, it's going to get offline. It's gonna be really hard to play straight and hit the pocket. Another important thing when playing straight is to have a straight backswing. Your swing does loop a little bit, gets behind you a touch, so that might make it tough to keep everything on line when you're playing straighter. When you're playing to the left, that's gonna help you out a lot more, because with that loop, it opens up your swing. You can throw it to the right a lot easier, which it doesn't seem like you have a problem doing. Alex does kind of have a little out to in swing. It actually starts with the push going to the right a little bit, and there's a little bit of loop, which I would rather see that out to in from the top down than in to out, because that's what allows him to create power, because he's on the outside at the top, and now he's bringing that on the inside, kind of creating that loop that a lot of the power players on tour have. So that's good to see. If we want to play straighter though, we might want to try to minimize that a little bit. So I'm going to watch him throw a couple more shots and see, kind of dial in. That's pretty good. That was better.
I felt like I just threw it, but it was a lot easier on the hand.
On a scale of 1 to 10, in terms of how much effort you're putting in, like upper body, what would you rate yourself?
6, 7.
Okay, 6 to 7. All right, let's try to make it feel like a 3. This is gonna step 1. It's a 2-part tip. Just want to loosen up a little bit. This is gonna help you with accuracy and consistency. Loose muscles are fast muscles. We always want to remember that. A lot softer. I like that. I feel like a lot less.
Yeah.
A little less effort. Yep. A lot of times less is more in this game.
Definitely.
Introducing more muscle in the swing, it's another variable. We're going to try to reduce the number of variables in our swing. We want the swing to be as pendulum-like as possible. It's going to swing straight back and straight forward unless we introduce external forces. And muscling it is one of those things. The second thing that you could try, if you want to, try to extend the push a little more. You have that really soft, methodical start, which I don't mind. A lot of really good players have that. But if you struggle with accuracy and consistency and keeping everything on line, that might help you generate a little more free momentum. So you don't have to use as much effort to get the swing coming backwards. We could try that. Just try to maybe start the setup a little higher and then just push it out a little more than you're used to.
Like a Brad Angelo?
The Brad Angelo. Maybe not Brad Angelo, but... It's usually going to feel pretty different when you're trying to change something that your body's locked into doing. Whatever you're thinking or whatever you're feeling is probably going to be about 10% reality. That's about average. So if you really want to see a big difference, it's got to feel super out of place, super awkward.
I want to get into like, bowling challenge shots, bowling sports shots. But then again, I know I don't have the tools or at least the consistency to be on that type of shot. That's the thing.
A lot of it's just practice and preparation. You're just getting the reps in. Actually, here we're at Gold Coast right now. Monday nights, they usually have sports shot practice.
Yes.
It's, I think, it's 20 bucks, I think. Maybe 3 or 4 patterns for 4 hours. So if anybody's interested in checking that out when you're in Vegas, I'd definitely recommend it. But yeah, definitely a good place to start if you want to try out different patterns and kind of see how you stack up. So take your setup, but don't go yet. I'm going to try to modify a little bit. Let's see if we can get you into a slightly freer swing. Let's try to get this up a little bit. Try to get it a little more compact. This is going to loosen you up because the closer the ball is to your body, the less effort you have to put in to...
Feel a little tighter, like now I could...
Feel a little tighter?
Yeah.
Okay. Just give that a shot. How convenient that we make an adjustment and it strikes off the rim. Doesn't always happen like that.
Swing was a lot freer.
Okay, that's good. That's what we're looking for. If you feel like there's still a little too much tension holding it like that, you can try to shift the ball, the weight of the ball into your left hand a little bit.
Yes, that's like one thing.
Yeah, if you want to try to relax the right arm a little more. If that gets you into doing some other things that aren't favorable to your game, you could always just go back to what you were doing.
Okay.
But that's an idea that we can definitely try. It's actually a tip I learned from Norm. You know, keep the ball in your hand like a book. You're reading a book, holding a book. How to distribute the weight a little more evenly. So as we're making changes, we're always going to be a little more uncomfortable. It's not an overnight thing. It's not going to click just like that. I mean, in very rare cases it might, but you just have to be accepting of the results for now and just trust that whatever you're working on is going to get you to a different level, a higher level, hopefully. So it didn't look like you liked that one, but to me it looked pretty good. So I'm not really sure what he was feeling there, but he does look a little more relaxed, which is good. The swing looks a little freer, and that's what we're always looking for, a little freer swing. Your swing's freer, you're gonna be able to move the ball faster. That in turn should increase your rev rate. More rev rate's never a bad thing, right? More rev rate, more power.
I think I should just bowl like it's nothing. That's like, when you say go take it to a 3, that's what it is to me. It's just like, all right, just throw the ball.
Yeah, I almost want to feel like you're not feeling anything. If you could get through the ball and not really feel it, that's ideal, because you're going to be able to keep that online every time.
Okay.
It's typically all about positions. If you can get yourself in good positions to create more ball speed, create more rev rate, you don't have to try as hard to do those things. So.
And I just got my hand like flat. That's really all I'm coming off of it. Because the more I try to cork it or on the release try to hit it more, that's when it's like, all right, I like it.
It gets really hard to repeat. So the closer you can get to playing your A game, obviously you're going to repeat better shots because that's what you're most comfortable doing. But we want to work on different things, expanding our game so that our A game, or maybe it's like a D or an F game, we can increase that and maybe make it like a B or a C game. So at least when we have to use these tools, we're going to be a little more comfortable doing these things, and that's why we practice, and that's what we're doing here. Alex is pretty good at hooking it. He wants to get better at playing straight so he can cover more ground.
Straighter is greater, kids.
Straighter is greater.
Spares and strikes.
Yeah, definitely spares, but yeah, if you can play straight, that's definitely the option I lean towards, but sometimes it's not always an option. Alex has goals of becoming better, playing at a higher level, and this is definitely a step that I feel like he's got to take if he wants to compete at that level.
Maybe win a Pro-Am one day too.
Yeah, that'll be easy. The release is definitely softer at the bottom, which I like to see playing straighter. Again, if you're ripping on it at the bottom of the swing and you're trying to play that straight, it's a little more susceptible to getting offline too fast. So it's hard to play straight when your ball's hooking as soon as it touches the lane. So maybe a tip out there for you guys, if you're trying to play straighter and you're struggling with that, maybe just try to get a little softer with your hand. Don't try to catch it as much, which is basically what we mean when we say get softer at the bottom. We don't want to try to hook it. We just want to let it roll off of our hand. Use the fingers. You'd never really want to use your thumb. Us one-handers, when we try to hook it more, we're typically grabbing it a little more at the bottom. That's why I say if you can bowl two-handed, just bowl two-handed. Bang. Yeah. Nice. When it's a lot faster at the bottom, you can throw pins around a lot better. Velocity is higher. Acceleration, ideally, is getting higher and higher. But yeah, ball speed and just a soft hand. Play a little straighter. If you already play straight and you need to work on hooking it, that'll be for another video. All right, cool. Believe it or not, this is basically just our first part of one of the things that he wanted to work on. The second part, I think, is a little more mental. Consistency, recovering from a bad shot. I think that's more process related.
Right.
So you play baseball, right?
Yes.
I've actually worked with a mental performance coach that works with a lot of baseball players, and pitching is actually pretty similar to bowling.
And that's what I used to do too.
So you used to be a pitcher, so this is good. So hopefully you can relate being a pitcher to bowling in the process aspect. Kind of doing the same thing over and over again before you execute the shot.
Right.
The same thing applies for bowling. A lot of people don't really think about it, but the more you can do the same thing over and over again, the easier it's going to be for you to repeat the shot.
Right.
Because like baseball, you're trying to execute something in particular. Bowling, you're doing the same thing. So I have a process, like a pre-shot routine, a post-shot routine. You see me wiping my shoe, doing that. I try to do that the same way every time. A lot of people will go, oh, that doesn't do anything for you. Yes, it does. That's part of my pre-shot routine, which is why I do it every time. So when you are struggling, that's something that you got to lean on.
Right.
Because I also learned fairly recently that you don't rise to the occasion, you fall to your level of preparation. And working on your process is part of that preparation. I want you to think about moving forward, the things that you do before you pick up a bowling ball. Do you wipe your ball X amount of times? Do you wipe your shoe? Do you brush your shoe?
Truthfully, it's just breathing.
Breathing, yeah, that's huge too for process.
That's one big thing for me. Like even in just any sport, like I always make sure I'm like just in control of my breathing because I'm the type of person that gets excited and all that stuff. Like sometimes I don't show it on my face, but in my head I'm like bouncing off the wall and everything.
That's a great way to control how you're feeling, what your body's doing. Because sometimes when the nerves start going, your heart beats faster, and the best way to calm that down is to just take deep breaths. And you want to do it the same way every time. You don't want to just randomly take 7 breaths on one shot and then maybe the next time you're like, I'm just going to take 2 this time and then go. That's going to throw you off. So developing a strong process is going to help you recover from the bad ones, and it's going to keep you going when you're doing well. Because now you're just doing the same thing over and over and over again. You're just repeating shot after shot, hitting your target, doing everything you need to do, executing the shots. But when you're struggling, and maybe something happens that you don't particularly feel great about, maybe you rip an 8-pin, you get up there and you miss it because you're angry, take a step back, go through your process again, and then just do it all over again. As an athlete, Alex has played a lot of different sports. He's got tons of experience, so this isn't really something new to him. Maybe it's just something that he needed to be made aware of, and now now I know what to do. All he's got to do now is just do it. All right, guys, thanks for watching. If these tips helped you out, let us know in the comment section down below, and like, comment, and subscribe. Of course, if you're not already, we look forward to coaching possibly you in the future.